Hopefully it's not too windy out here. I wanted to take an opportunity to record, but inside the house it's too noisy. So I had to relocate for this. This week we're doing something special. We kind of want to reset our schedule so that our new video series lands on Monday, the first Monday of the week. First Monday of the month. That way it's a little bit easier to keep track of content and where we're at. So we're kind of doing a bye week in a way. So Kyle's got the week off and I'm taking the reins. And I thought that it would be cool to do something that was focused on just me. And so as I stand out here, and you see my deck back here, and I'm standing by my garage is this way. We work out in this space here. You can't see it. Not the wall behind me, but this way. But anyways, you'll see some videos in there probably. I wanted to give you my life story because I thought that it would be entertaining. And then I think that it would be kind of neat and create a bond, you know. So, as we already know, my name's John. It's in the brand namesake. And yeah, if you've watched this far, or you probably know me or something like that, you definitely know my name. Wasting too much time on that. Just got off work. Got a lot to do. Nothing bad, just got a lot to do, so I got a lot on my mind. I got a long list of chores, but we're going to take care of that after this. Anyways, let me get back on track. So my name's John, and my parents are Renee and Doug. Fantastic people. Two of my favorite people, not just because they're my parents, but seriously and legitimately two of my favorite people. My mother is so wise and caring and kind of hard on me in a good way, and my dad is very handy. He can do just about anything he puts his mind to, and he was able to teach me skills and teach me how to maintain a level head in situations that you would maybe want to lose your level head. And so I've learned some really positive traits from my parents, and I love them to death, and they're really good people. And until my mom's tragic passing 4 years ago, she was my best friend, and it's tough losing your best friend. But anyways, we'll move on from that. So Renee and Doug met, and then here comes baby John. And my dad said that was probably the happiest that he had seen my mother in her life, is when you had little John. And I like that. I like that I could bring joy, especially to somebody like my mom. So anyways, so there's little John. He shows up on the scene, and I had a very unique life. When I was about 6 going on to 7, I was an only child until that point, and then I had let me put that on pause for a second. Let me talk about the obvious thing that you've seen from these pictures, that I am the product of a mixed race marriage, something that was illegal in our country until, I don't know, like 20 years before I was born, which is really weird to think about. My mom lived through the end of segregation. Her father, Reese, who died when I was very young, unfortunately, but he was the first black assistant principal in our town. And like I said, my mom lived through the tail end of segregation, had to sit in the balcony of the movie theater because she wasn't white. Just really interesting stuff. That was just my mom, that's the generational separation there. That was my mom. And we're not that far from that, my existence was illegal. Like I said, I wasn't technically supposed to be here, the product of a mixed race marriage. Mixed race marriages weren't allowed, let alone they had be having children. And so anyways, it's weird, just weird times, how close we are to a completely different country. Anyways, so then Reese was her father, and my grandfather, and very small amount of time we spent together was precious. I don't really have a lot of memories of him, but there are pictures, and my mom said we got along really well. And then so after Reese passed away, I went and lived in Hamel with Mama and Papa, my dad's parents, and it was fun. I got a lot of country living experience out there, and then at one point in time later in life, I spent a lot of time in Carlisle with my grandma, my mom's mom, and that was a different version of country living, but it was the same thing, man. I tell you, poor country white folk and poor country black folk have a lot of the same things in common. They get up when the sun rises, they put in an honest day of work, their yes means yes or no means no, and they play hard when they come home. And the values are the same, and I got to experience that. But yeah, so after Reese's passing, not too long after that, when I had to live with Mama and Pawpaw, is when, because of my mom's complicated pregnancy with my brother Eddie, he was born severely handicapped, and he didn't live very long, 15 months old. And so, somber and sad as it is, I have memories as a little boy, holding my dead brother, and it's intense. And that changes you in ways that I don't know if I fully understand. Kind of hardens you in some ways that I don't know that are necessarily all good. It's not all bad, though. I take life with good and bad. But from that, then Mamaw, who I had to live with Pawpaw, Mamaw and Pawpaw, she passed away of a heart attack. And so these series of losses really rock my world. And I can't lie, they kind of shaped who I was. It's hardened me, like I said. It's done some things to me that I don't think are great, but I'm trying to fix them. And so now, moving on from the sad stuff, I was homeschooled too. So being on top of being mixed and essentially an only child, and the hardships that I experienced, and then being homeschooled, you add that on top of it, and being raised religious. I still consider myself a religious person by all means, but add that on top of it. And so I had this outsider mentality. I didn't go to grade school. I didn't learn any of the packed rules, so to speak. I didn't deal with bullies. I didn't experience any of that. I was homeschooled. Spent a lot of time alone. I think it's some of my true strengths come from that experience, from being able to produce and work really well alone without any push or assistance or guidance. I could just get it done. Anyways, I really like that too. Being homeschooled helped me learn how to be self-motivated in a way that I think is irreplaceable. And it helped is my mom was a teacher. She was an educator, and so I think she felt well equipped to do something like that. But again, I spent most of my time by myself. My day, this is going to shock you, I didn't start school until I was nearly 9, maybe 10. And I would just have the lesson plan written out for me in the morning by my mom, and my parents would go to work, and I'd stay home. Be by myself in the house when I was 9 and 10 years old. No adult supervision. And I lived a lot of my life like that. And I would read the lessons and do the problems, and my mom would come home and grade it, and we'd talk about a couple things, and that would be it. And got a decent education. I'm not a dummy by any stretch of the imagination. So then from there, I decided to go to high school when I was 14 to meet musicians. And we'll talk a little bit about that in another video, because I'd like to give you, that's my musical history, and I'd like to give you a little taste of that. But, I'll never forget going to high school, being the outsider that I was, and not being connected to any of the social rings and situations, and it was awesome for that. The actual school part of it, abysmal, but meeting the kids and getting friends and creating lifelong friendships was pretty cool. I liked it. But I don't like public schools. I don't like that format. I hardly like the college format either. It's just not really intuitive for learning, in my opinion. It's just something else. I don't know. I'm not into it. But then you fast forward several years, and then I become a dad myself, and I'll show a picture of that when I had short hair with Kara, our 6-year-old now, who's much littler in this picture. And I think about going back to that hair sometimes. And so I'm just going to think and make sure I didn't leave anything out. And I'm not sure that I did. And if I did, that's okay. We'll pick it up in the next video. But so Wednesday, what I'm going to do in the vlog is I'm going to do another vlog, but I'm going to do a vlog that carries this story on, and I'm going to do it from the brief overview of my musical life and my journey and how I grew and what bands really meant, songs made an impact on me. And then I forgot what I was going to say. So on that note, I think that's a sign that I should go ahead and end this thing. So, Next video will be my musical history. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tune in on Wednesday.